Hello, my name is Christy Pennington, past president of the DeKalb Association of REALTORS. It's been 50 or more years since DeKalb Association received its charter as the DeKalb Board of Realtors, and I'm excited to be a part of an initiative to preserve and to share the rich history of this organization. Joining me today is Don Lacy, past president and a patriarch of the organization. Welcome, Don.
Glad to be here.
Good, good. Let me ask you, would you mind to set the scene of us in real estate during the 1950s? What were the challenges facing realtors?
In the 1950s, real estate was beginning to really boom. And the organizations that were existing, including the DeKalb Board of Realtors, were coming into prominence. As I've said so many times before, I was not allowed to get in. Got into real estate in the early 60s, and I started selling $1 million worth of real estate, but I couldn't get into the board. There'd been a lawsuit between the broker I was working with and his former, and back then, if one vote, you couldn't get in. If any one vote against you, you couldn't get in. And so they kept putting my name. I kept selling $1 million. I couldn't get it in. The notoriety that goes along with it. So I finally went to John Cox, who was president at that time.
Okay.
And told John the situation, and they finally did get me in to the Board of Realtors. I became active, and about the second year I was a member, I was appointed treasurer of the DeKalb Board, taking the place of Mr. Strickland, who had been the treasurer from the day one. And he ran the place. Well, in fact, to buy a light bulb, they had to get his permission. Now, these are stories that people haven't heard. But anyway, I took over treasurer, and first thing I noticed is that they got their monthly statement on a yellow pad in pencil. Well, that wasn't in keeping with my way of doing business, so we immediately got a different accountant to start doing our monthly bill. And so from there, I served as treasurer for a 3 years. Then they decided they wanted me to be president, and I said, okay, I'll be president. It's a very big honor to have been president back then, particularly. And the DeKalb Board was growing. I think they had between 1,500 and 2,000 members. One of the things that has always stuck in my mind is when I gave my opening speech on the night I was installed, one of the goals I set several goals. One was to make the public more aware of realtors, that they should have used a realtor. And the other was I wanted to extend the DeKalb Board of Realtors all of DeKalb County. Well, that didn't go over too good, because sitting in the audience was John Cox, Ed Isaacson, who were big people in First. And most people didn't know at that time that our jurisdiction ended at the Southern Railroad. That all the county wasn't in it. Now, if I had got my way, a lot of the area First would have come into our board. But nothing ever happened of it, but I announced that was my goal.
Now, share with us some of your probably favorite memories about with the DeKalb Board of Realtors.
The fact that they were so aggressive, and everybody was willing to work. We had great committees. We were very involved in the public, trying to get the attention of the people as far as what realtors were. We met with the county attorneys. We worked very much with the chairman of the DeKalb Board of Commissioners. Then we started supporting the realtor organizations, the women's realtors in DeKalb Board, the young realtors. Then we even helped get started the realtor organization in South Atlanta.
Really?
And all those things kept you pretty busy. And we had a great group of young people wanting to just do something. And we had no problem getting people to participate, and it really went very enjoyable, very fast for a year that I served as president. But trying to remember individually, I can't. I know Georgia Bryant was CEO of the DeKalb board. She was it. And she stayed there till Carolyn Ebert took over, and I was involved all that time. One of the things that did affect my being president was the fact that when you're president of the DeKalb board, you're a member of the MLS board, and that led to a whole different career that I don't know whether you want to know about, but I got very involved in the MLS, and a couple of years after I finished being president, I was treasurer of MLS, and then I became president in 1984 and served for president for 20 years.
Oh my goodness.
At the time I took over, we had 5,000 members, agents, and when I left, we had 42,000, and the board and the MLS were going along real good. Because of some local politics, we did had to separate the operation of the board and the MLS.
Okay.
We got where the board wanted to tell the MLS what they could do, and that just wasn't working. But we separated. We've had a good relation with the board, and they've always been one of our favorites, and we try to look out for them, whether it be monetarily or other support that the board needs.
Excellent.
So that quickly is a little bit of what took place. Individual programs and that, it's very hard for me to say. I remember a lot of the people. One of them that was very predominant was Mary Nelson. They still have the Mary Nelson Award.
Absolutely.
And Walter Scott was a big leader, John Thibodeau. I followed Buddy Weston as president, which was very tough because everybody liked Buddy.
Everybody liked Buddy.
And you know, here I was almost a newcomer becoming president, and so I had to deal with that the other year. Buddy did this, Buddy did that.
And then here comes Don.
So, you can understand what I said. Well, I'm not saying with that. You were trying to be a good leader, but boy, Buddy used to do it this way. Anyway, I got through the year, and I think Raymond Morris was supposed to follow me.
Follow you, okay.
But he didn't stay long. He resigned.
Okay. And thinking back, what would you say would be some of the most maybe dramatic changes in real estate that you've seen over the years?
Wow. Well, the attitude, well, first of all, the franchises came into business. And I'll have to tell you about me and the franchises.
Okay.
I bought the very first franchise ever in Atlanta, Georgia.
You did?
And that was awful because now they wanted to throw, everybody's scared to death, particularly Ed Isaacson. And he got the board to want to throw us out of the DeKalb Board of Realtors. There was 21 of us, I think, had bought franchises. There had never been a franchise in Atlanta. Well, they didn't do it. They had a big meeting of all the members and what to do with us. But Ed did get his way. He called us down to the hotel one Friday night with the real estate commissioner, and he said, "You all have violated the real estate rules, and you're going to void. You have let an agent's name be larger in print than a broker's name in an ad, and that violates the Georgia real estate rule. And you are all right now. Your license is canceled."
And what did you say to that?
Well, we just didn't know what to do, but we called the corporate attorney for Red Carpet, and they came and before they got through, there were major changes made in the real estate regulations because there was at that time they had things that just were not compatible with the real estate going on. I had been a very successful salesman, as I said. I was selling 50 to 60 houses a year. And then I started my own company, and that's when I got involved with the board and became a president. And I had my owned a company right up to the railroad track, which if I'd have been on the other side of the railroad track, I'd have been in the Atlanta board.
Okay.
So, I've had a very great experience in real estate. All of it is tied to the fact that the realtor business has been a part of my life, the ethics that they portray.
Right.
And one of the biggest campaigns we had when I was graduate, we were trying to make the public aware that you should use a realtor, that what a realtor was. It's not just a plain real estate agent, but it's somebody that subscribed to a code of ethics and lives by it. So that was one of our big pushes. But like I said, we were involved with many of the local governments.
What piece of advice would you give a new person getting into the real estate industry today?
Learn to be honest and forthright, and don't be afraid to work. Don't carry your feelings on your arm that you're going to get some ups and downs, but work, stay with it, take all the classes you can, all the training you can, particularly salesman training, because that's what your life will become. And except one thing, you've got to work when other people are off. So that means you work nights and you work weekends. But you have to accept that as a way of life in the real estate business. That's one thing I would tell them.
Excellent. And what do you see for the future of the DeKalb Association, and what goals would you like to see the next generation achieve?
The future of the DeKalb Board of Realtors is got to change. There have been too many people feel they don't need that association in the real estate business. You're going to have to start with the grassroots when agents get their license, that they are well aware of what the DeKalb Board or Board of Realtors, whatever, can do for them. That it allows you to associate with successful people, to be kept up on the latest changes and knowledge that's going on in real estate, and be loyal to this organization.
Excellent. Don, I want to thank you for joining us and sharing your memories. Your leadership has been vital in the DeKalb Association's growth and success. Thank you.